Sorry. Thank you for the very kind introduction. My mother and I started our company in 1989. We are located in Texas. We have 85 employees in Bryan, Texas, and 6 more in Cambridge, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. I'm here today on behalf of Women Impacting Public Policy. WIP is a national, nonpartisan public policy organization that's advocating on behalf of nearly 1 million women business owners and representing 61 different business organizations. Women-owned businesses represent one of the fastest-growing contributors to our national economy, with an impact of $1.2 trillion annually, a number that would be much higher without the impediments that, like competing with Federal Prison Industries, also known as Unicor. I commend the subcommittee for bringing light to this issue and looking at what is really happening with FPI, and the fact that they are allowed to compete for small business set-asides. The committee has often said that small businesses getting awards is actually a triple win for government, the economy, and the taxpayer. Approximately 25% of my business actually comes from federal contracting. We've had a GSA contract for 21 years, and we manufacture ergonomic and multi-purpose chairs, which if you were sitting in them, you would be much more comfortable than what you're sitting in now. About 50% of our income comes from the Neutral Posture series, which is the series that was actually our main line when we first started the company. And that is our highest end, most task-intensive chairs, provide the most adjustability. Unicor's best product is called the Freedom Chair, and it doesn't even come close to competing with our chair. The Unicor price on the Freedom Chair is $729. Our price to the GSA government contractors or government offices is $690, and that's one of my most expensive chairs. So when you compare our products to the Unicor products, almost all of our products come in substantially less from a dollar standpoint, better quality, more features, more benefits, and the fact they cost less, and we deliver on time. So our company has to follow all of the issues that have already been said with the OSHA, workers' comp, all the things that we have to pay for that Unicor doesn't have to pay for. Mandatory preferences for Federal Prison Industries is not only limited to federal agencies, but it's also applicable in some of the states. By using our chairs, the state of Washington actually reduced their injury rate by 60% and their workers' compensation costs by 90%. Those are pretty significant numbers when you look at what the bottom line would be to different agencies by using a better, more ergonomic chair. There are a lot of really senseless regulations out there, and what happened to us with the state of Washington is that the state of Washington decided that they were only going to buy through the prisons, but they wanted us to still have the contract. So we were required to sell our chairs to the prisons in the state of Washington so that they could then put them together, mark them up substantially, and sell them to the state. So the state's getting the exact same product, but they're paying about a 25% markup for it so that they can run it through the prisons. And that's just complete inefficiency and a waste of money to me. We are eligible for the Women-Owned Small Business Program. We were one of the first companies certified through the WOSB program. We've worked on that for about 11 years to get it in place. I mean, if you're familiar with the Women-Owned Small Business Program, it was actually signed into law under President Clinton, went into effect last February. So it's something we've worked on for a long time, and the fact that now there can be a women-owned set-aside and Federal Prison Industries can actually swoop in and take that away, and it doesn't have to go small business, it doesn't have to go woman-owned, it doesn't have to go HUB-zone or minority-owned. Also, some of the chairs that are on Unicor's price list aren't even manufactured there. Just like what we do with the state of Washington, those chairs are actually made in large manufacturing companies, and then they ship them to Unicor. They put in a couple of screws and bolts, put the casters in, and then they say that that's their product. So there's not a lot of manufacturing that's going on in these facilities. Another issue that we've just learned recently is that there are chairs that can't get on the GSA schedule because they're made in China. And because they're made in China, they're not allowed to be on schedule. So the workaround for that is now they ship those chairs in a box from China to the prison. The prison puts the chair together, and now all of a sudden it doesn't have to pass the same rules that I have to do. I can't bring that chair in, assemble it in my facility, and sell it to the government, but the prisons are allowed to do that. If the agency wants to buy from us, sometimes they have to get a waiver. I heard earlier that FBI says that they grant a lot of waivers. The biggest issue that we have is that most of the time the agencies don't even know that they can get a waiver. They just understand that Unicor is first, and that's who they have to go to, and if Unicor doesn't have it, they can look somewhere else, but they get the preference. Now Unicor is also trying to compete in the commercial market. So this is their new brochure that they put out under the name of Office Furniture Group. So they're not telling people that these are made in prisons. They're out there in my biggest trade show last month with a 30 by 30 booth that they probably paid over $100,000 for, competing for commercial business. So now not only am I competing with them for government business, I'm now competing with them in the commercial market. We estimate in the last 10 years we've lost about $10 million to FPI. That $10 million would be about, when you think about what we could have done with that, reinvesting in our company, reinvesting in jobs. We just lost an order last month, $250,000 order that went to Unicor. I understand that they say that they're trying to train these people to go out and get jobs, but there's not going to be any small furniture manufacturers left if they continue to grow the way that they're growing right now. I understand the committee has put together and successfully passed a series of procurement reform bills, which can best be described as small contracting wish lists. We really applaud your efforts and the increase in facilitating government partnerships with small firms. This is one area that really needs to be reformed. On behalf of the Women Impacting Public Policy, Neutral Posture, and all the small businesses who are impeded by FPI, I want to thank you for the opportunity to appear today, and I'm happy to take any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Boenigk.